the Direct Response Podcast. I'm your host, Travis Ketchum, founder of Campaign Refinery, joined today by David Cartolano of Wealthy Inbox. Hey, dude.
Hey, how you doing, Travis?
Doing good, dude. So, all right. Now, if you're here, it's because you're curious about the concept of loyalty program emails. And that might sound like watching paint dry on the wall. But don't worry, it's actually more interesting and multi-layered than maybe it appears at first blush. Now, I'm not talking about the emails you get from your dentist saying happy birthday. That is like the most lame incantation of this possible. I'm talking about emails that get your customers to repeat buy. They get prospects to buy the first time. They get people to buy more of what they like. And it makes them feel good in the process. And importantly, from a marketing perspective, it allows you to make offers and drive sales outside of the sort of set in stone times such as Valentine's, Black Friday, whatever, right? Like those are ones that you're competing with everyone else. The beauty about loyalty program specific emails is you are competing on a date that is unique to your customer, right? An event for your customer. And so it lets you spread out that sales over time and come up with reasons why it's in it for them. Now, David, I know that you're in the newsletter space, and newsletters probably don't do as much in this world, but you are also a consumer. So I guarantee you've had loyalty emails of some kind hit your inbox. What are some brands that come to mind of loyalty emails that you've received over the past few years?
Yeah, so loyalty brands that I get a lot of emails from, I've unsubscribed from a lot because I actually know how to hit that button. But if I had to get some, there's like tech companies, definitely. Coffee, I don't drink too much coffee because I bounce off the walls. So if I'm gonna get coffee, it's gonna be decaf, and even then I don't get it. So I'm not seeing like Starbucks and the typical like Fortune 500 coffee companies. Salsa boxes. Let me tell you, get me a good hot sauce. There was a subscription I had called Fuego Box, and they literally just sent hot sauce in the mail. It's a beautiful thing. I don't know why I stopped it, but you would get emails.
Do they pack a bottle of Tums like in it with you, like with every hot sauce that shows up?
No, no, they just they do attach a little like crucifix on it and say like, hey, say your prayers just in case it's too hot. But just like normal physical products, normal food, tech, simple stuff like that.
So walk me through some of the experience of like what those loyalty emails have specifically that would be a driver for a repurchase, a rebuy, or some kind of special offer.
Yeah. So like you said, the birthday stuff is like the typical birthday email is always that's always present. But there's also like if you've signed on us for a year or your first month, it's like, hey, you've been on for a year, have 15% off on us. And they are able to send that type of email because they can literally see when I first entered their system and or was tagged as a buyer. And then a year later, they can actually shoot me an email if I'm still subscribed to them for, a customer like loyalty benefit, So that's something that I've seen. So like it's been X amount of time that you've been with us. So here is a thing. They also have referral programs. That's another thing. If they're like, if you forward this email to somebody, you're both qualified to get an X amount, X% discount. So that's another one that I see a lot of.
Yeah, so I know you said you're not a big coffee drinker, but when I think about loyalty stuff that's executed at a high level, one of the ones, just from a marketing perspective, is very interesting to me is Starbucks. Yes, very stereotypical. I'm in the greater Seattle area. You could throw a rock and hit 3 Starbucks. It's how it goes. But they actually pull off a really nice multi-layered approach to these loyalty emails that stands out to me in a big way. And we'll go through some of the different value drivers on those. So instead of just happy birthday, it's your birthday. Hey, it's your birthday. You can get, basically a free drink or food on us if you come in today on your birthday. Boom, done, right? Like they used to be a little more lean on that. They tightened it. It used to be like, hey, come in like the week of your birthday. Now it's like, hey, you got to come in and use it on your birthday. Trying to make it like an event for your birthday to go there, right? So whether that's important to you or not, I don't always use it because of that, but they're definitely giving you something of clear and obvious value that also expires and is also unique to you being your birthday. So like if we do go get it, my wife and I like, we'll just get a giant venti something and split it, right? It's like, hey, this one thing is free. So let's just get one gigantor drink. Another thing that they do well is they not only have a point system that they will let you know about your point totals and if you have any points that are expiring, again, triggering you into things, but they are really good at sending individualized offers to give you even more points. So for example, some of them will be hard set. It's, hey, order anything on Wednesday, before 2 p.m. and you'll earn double points, right? So the email told me about that was happening. They were very clear about the terms. They're very easy to hit because it's like if I order anything, whatever I spend, it just doubles, right? So if I was thinking about maybe going in today, hey, I'm getting more bang for my buck on a loyalty perspective, sure, I'll go ahead. That has prompted me to now place an order. They do also do a sort of choose your own adventure loyalty program, which will be, hey, we want to give you, points, 50 points, 100 points, 200 points, whatever. You get to select what is going to trigger that point unlock. So and depending on your purchase history, it will actually impact what this email says and does. So their base generic thing might be, order any 2 bakery items or order any 2 handcrafted drinks right. That's kind of the baseline. But if they know, for example, I had a friend who she used to work at Nordstrom, downtown Seattle, like Nordstrom corporate, and she would get a flat white every day. And so her and I got the exact same email, and it said, you can buy 2 bakery items, or you can buy, 2 meals. Or for me, it said 2 handcrafted drinks like a flat white. Hers, it said 9.
Oh my God.
Because it knew that was her order. That was her thing, and she was going to order that no matter what. And so it said, how can we stretch her to get the thing she always gets a bit more, but our point values linked to that were the same. So like, even like with my wife, for example, she goes to Starbucks far more often than I do. Hers will be much higher thresholds to unlock, more aggressive, shorter time span, all those kind of things. Mine's like, dude, we haven't seen you in like a month, 3 months. If you come spend $1 with us, we will give you the whole store. You just own it now. That's how this loyalty program works. So I find it very fascinating, sort of a masterclass that they layer on date-based things, expiration-based things, and these sort of like loyalty sprints, if you say. And these are all small transaction items, but individualized loyalty sprints based on actual purchase history, recency of visit, amount that you spend, what you order. All of these things are dynamically generating these loyalty emails, which is a really cool concept. But you can imagine the machine behind the scenes that's probably required to pull off something like that.
The amount of data you need. Oh my gosh. So small business owners, don't try this at home unless you do have that data and you're crazy like that. Travis, this seems to me a lot like gamification. So in your, and that is something I know you absolutely love. So in your mind, to write a good loyalty email or a good gamification email, what are like a couple of elements that someone watching or listening to this should include in order to have, an awesome customer experience on the other side, even if they don't have the data that Starbucks has?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So let me give you an example of something that basically anyone should be able to deploy and is meaningfully pretty powerful in the way that it presents an outcome, which is your customers get something cool and you get more money in the bank. That's my favorite kind of thing. So a really simple way that I love for gamification is sort of like surprise loyalty or like a sneaky offer. So for example, you could send out a broadcast that goes to any piece of content. This is the really beautiful part. It can go to anything from anywhere on the internet that you can link to. Doesn't have to be your video, doesn't have to be your news article, doesn't have to be your blog post. If you find an interesting piece of content that is highly correlated to something that you specifically want to sell, but is also very interesting, what you can do is you can send out a broadcast about this topic, and then only users who click through to that thing, you can basically have that tag and set up an automation to trigger an hour later, a day later, whatever you decide is right. And then in that sequence, it will be like, hey, I have a little surprise for you. Because you're an action taker and you actually read about the thing that I told you about basically in our broadcast, I've got a delightful, sneaky little flash sale for you as a loyal newsletter subscriber. And here's the pitch on the deal. Don't tell your friends. This is only for you because you did something, right? And it's only
Mm-hmm,
good for
mm-hmm.
48 hours. And so
Clever.
that is a flash sale offer that is tucked under the concept of loyalty. And the whole bridge there is the reason why is that they are your engaged audience. So that does a couple things. One is it presents a fantastic offer, hopefully, to them, sort of just in time, because if the thing you sent them to actually is compelling, even if you did not write it yourself or produce it yourself, you introduced them to the concept and got them thinking about it. And then you are just in time delivering a solution that will hopefully get them whatever that thing talked about faster, cheaper, better, right? In a way that
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can't get anywhere else. And the reason why they're getting it is because they did something special. They were already in your community, they were already on your list, and they did something that a fraction of a percentage of your list does, which is click through to an actual piece of content. And so now they feel like they went to like, platform 8 3/4 or whatever the Harry Potter thing is, and they're going into this like special offer zone that no one else can even see or know about, which makes the offer that much more compelling.
Like it. I like it. And that only takes like I'm going through it in my head right now. I'm like that takes maybe a simple automation in the right email service provider that allows for that type of automation to happen. So definitely check your tech and make sure like you actually can do that. Not all email service providers are born equal, and I have a list in my mind that I'm like, yep, they couldn't do that. Um, but
There
I
are a
think
lot
I
that
think
can.
that's
There are quite a few that can. It's not
there
all
are
of them, but it's not just us. That's why I want to bring up this concept. So like,
yeah.
I just love this marketing sort of psychology of you're providing an offer that is, even if you don't have all the data in the world of, you know, what, when they were born, when they got married, whatever. If you
Color their
forgot to
Jeep.
record, yeah, color of their Jeep, their first dog, definitely not security compromise at all. So, but the whole point is you do know when they clicked, right? And you can position it as a reason why they're getting a slight delay, and then they're getting the content about that is that they've raised their hand about the thing that you
Hmm.
want to talk about. And it's a really great way, and it allows you to basically build a forward campaign, a broadcast campaign of just picking any content that's good. Because I think a lot of people struggle with how do I come up with something interesting to tell people? Because I have to own the whole pipeline. It has to go to my blog post, it has to go to my video, it has to go to my sales page, it has to go to my whatever.
Yeah.
And this blows that door wide open for the litmus test is no longer that it has to be good and it has to be mine. It just has to be good. So you could just have to find good content from YouTube, from a news site, from a blog post. Like it could be a damn recipe, right? Like it does
Hmm.
not matter as long as it's correlated to the thing you do want to tell them about. And the great part is here is hopefully the content that you're linking to is legitimately good and provides legitimate value on its own. So the vast majority of your list that's seeing what you're sending is just seeing value forward good content that you are the curator of. And the
Yeah.
people that are the most entrenched in what you have to say get rewarded for their loyal engagement as a subscriber by getting exclusive access to the best offers and best discounts. And you add a little scarcity spice on top of that, and you're off to the races.
I love that. And I agree with the people that think bigger are usually bigger creators who aren't worried about like, oh, it has to be my idea, it has to be my domain, it has to be my product. If you look at the biggest companies in the world and some of the biggest publications, just email wise, you'll notice that they don't just talk about their own stuff. There's a reason for that. That's part of like what it means to get big. So I do want to like for anyone listening to this who's like I don't think I could feature someone else's stuff, talk about something else other than myself and my company, me. It's like I think you're limiting your growth. That's something that I've realized a lot of new newsletter creators they aren't willing to do. Um, you can take the spotlight off of you for a little bit. It might actually really help. And one of these offers, you're giving me ideas on like what I can do to shake up some content a little bit. So, uh, yeah, okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, a lot of this comes from a sense of authority, right? And nothing is more authoritative than saying, I am invested in your outcome, even if it means completing the picture is not only from me. So, for
Mm,
example, Campaign Refinery currently does not have a landing page builder. Okay. And that's fine. There's a lot of email service providers that would not be willing to tell you, hey, go use a specialized landing page provider to pull off what you're looking to pull off better than we could ever build ourselves. But to me, if I say your main outcome is my primary concern, I want you to use the best in class thing that's going to get you the best version of that outcome possible. And if that means you use some of our elective features and you use a competitor for some of the other elective features because you like the way that it works better, if you like the way that a countdown timer works from somebody else over ours, great. We have one built in that can get you that from point A to point B that I think works really well. But if it doesn't do what you need it to do and you want to hook it up with one that does, great. I'm happy to point you in what those options are and provide the breadth of information so that you can make the best choice. I think that
hmm.
authority goes a long way when you're willing to kill your ego and let that sort of thing take place.
Right, right. Cool.
Cool. Loyalty. I think the big takeaway here is leverage the data you do have, anniversaries, whether that's birthdays, sign up dates, newel dates coming up. Maybe their wedding anniversary and you want to send them a special discount, even if you're not in the wedding industry. Finding things that you think are going to be of importance to the person on the list, and then creating an event around it to say, hey, we really appreciate you. We wanted to make you feel celebrated, make you feel special. And we're going to leverage that by either giving you a bonus or giving you a discount or both. Um, Basically, creating your narrative around that, understanding that all about them, the subscriber, and not about you as the sender. If you do that, then you'll be in a pretty good place to win.
I love that. It's a great way to end it.
Cool. Well, if you have more questions or want to see some actual screenshots of real world examples of loyalty emails, we have a link down below to our content that has a whole bunch of different examples from a whole bunch of different brands so you can get some inspiration about how you can design it. I think it can be done very effectively through plain text, but a lot of the examples we have are from bigger brands that like to have their sort of, colors and everything built into it. And I think in the loyalty sense, that's a more okay place to do that than your everyday broadcast. But definitely check out those examples down below. And if you want to execute on that strategy I told you about sending a broadcast to people of any content that's high quality, and then daisy chaining that automation and adding a real scarcity so an offer can evergreen go away, that is something the Campaign Refinery does particularly well. You can check that out down below. And David, if they are wanting to run a newsletter, grow, scale a newsletter to hopefully implement some kind of loyalty program in as well, where can they learn more about newsletters and the M&A of the whole business?
Yeah. You can go to wealthyinbox.news and check out what I'm doing over in the newsletter space. I can tell you though, loyalty programs not my strong suit. So go read Travis's article on the loyalty programs and check out that stuff if that's your jam. But if you do like the newsletter stuff and you're figuring out how to sell a newsletter to an investor that actually wants to like buy the thing, you could take a look at wealthyinbox.news.
Cool. All right. Well, till next time, see you guys soon.